everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Gretchen, and today I'm here with another Booker Prize Longlist review, and today's book is My Friends by Hisham Matar. Now, when this book was longlisted, I was not at all surprised to see that this book made it. Not only did a lot of booktubers have this on their predictions list, but every review I had watched leading up to that longlist announcement was generally positive for this book. This was also the winner of this year's Orwell Prize for Political Fiction, so it's definitely having its moment. I personally had not read anything by Matar before the longlist was announced, but I knew he had a history with the Booker. He was shortlisted back in 2006 for the book In the Country of Men, which I should probably prioritize now, especially because I did like this one. This book follows our main character, Khalid, and he is Libyan, but he is currently living in London. And the book opens with, I believe it being in present day, and he is saying goodbye to his friend Hisham at a London train station. And as he's leaving the train station, Khalid decides that he wants to take the long walk home, which I believe is about a 6-mile walk for him. I think that's what they said. And while he is walking home, he's reminiscing on his friendships along the way, especially as he sees certain landmarks and memories are triggered. We learn very early on that when he was about 18, him and another one of his friends, Mustafa, were students in Edinburgh, and they decided that they were going to travel to London to participate in some anti-Gaddafi protests that were happening in front of the Libyan embassy. And unfortunately, during that event, there was a riot, and they ended up, him and Mustafa, both ended up getting injured and wounded during that attack. And this is really where the story starts to take off, and we learn all about the event. And by the way, it's based on true events, and really how that event impacted both Khalid and Mustafa, but also how they eventually became friends with Hisham and so much more. I don't want to get into too many details because I did find this to be a really beautiful story, and I certainly don't want to spoil anything if you are a reader that wants to take a chance on this book. This book was very interesting to me, and I learned a lot about Libyan history under Gaddafi's rule, and I think that Matar did a really great job of explaining the basics to the reader. I never felt lost, and I never felt like I was missing out on information along the way. I went into this book not knowing much about it at all, but I was able to keep up the whole time. Now, I will say that I personally love books that have a lot of history in them, but if you're a reader that doesn't like that, you may struggle with this one. However, even if you don't focus on learning the history throughout this book, I still think that this would be a great read. It really talked a lot about the importance of friendship and how we really come to depend on our friends throughout all of the stages of our lives, good or bad. This book did take me a few chapters to get into, but once I got to the part where he was walking past the embassy and started to recount the story of the shooting, that's really where everything started to fall into place, and I really started to enjoy my time with this book. This was a really riveting story for me, but it was also a very slow-paced one. However, it was nice though, because it felt like I was on that long meandering walk through London with the narrator, and he was telling me the story as we went along, and we would get to certain spots and we would stop and he'd elaborate on the story and then would continue again. So the book pacing felt very in line with the physical pacing of the character, or what the character would experience on that long walk. I thought the writing in this book was also fantastic, and there was a very calming quality to it. I read this in the way that I like to read most of my books, which is I read along with the physical as I was listening to the audio, and Matar narrated this, and I think that he did a fantastic job. And while I typically like my books to be a little more fast-paced, I allowed myself to adjust to the pace of the narrator, and I let him guide me through the story. Now, I will say that there were parts of this book that were maybe a little too slow for me, but I really enjoyed my time with the characters that I never really seemed to mind too much. And if I felt like I was getting to a point where I was getting bored or even maybe not enjoying the story, there was something that would happen that would pick up the speed a little bit, and then I was fine. I think that patience is key with this book, and there are probably going to be a lot of readers that find it very boring, especially because it does tend to repeat itself a lot as well. And when I say repetitive, I don't mean in the sense of events or action. I'm talking about theme. This book really hit us over the head with that theme of friendship and home, and there were times when I was just like, yeah, like I get it, let's keep walking. Friends are great, there's no place like home. Can we just keep moving? But aside from that, that only happened a couple times, and I still ended up enjoying my experience, even though I was a little bored at times. I ended up landing on a 4 with this book, and I think it's one of the better ones on the long list that I have read so far. I'm curious to know what all of your thoughts are on this book, and if any of you out there have read his other one, In the Country of Men, let me know your thoughts on that book. I'm still looking for a few more Booker backlists to get to by the end of the year, so that might be one that I pick up if you guys tell me good things about it. And I hope all of you are reading a great book right now and are still enjoying your time with this long list, and until we read again, bye!